because of loss of pollination species, insects, bees, butterflies, which we don't even think about. Their loss is threatening our food security because there is nothing to pollinate anymore. About 93% of all the fisheries, all the fishing, globally speaking, is already unsustainable, which means, again, a huge insecurity for our food security, but also millions of people at the threat of losing their jobs because they're dependent on fisheries. So this is the kind of threat that we face today, because of which this meeting becomes extremely important. These issues are of global significance. It's not that nobody is talking about it. For decades now, global community has been meeting. Governments are meeting, actors like us are meeting, both at national level and global level. And in the last of those very significant, important meeting was in December 2022, under the Convention on Biological Diversity. And now they have set a target. They have set 23 targets, because they say that unless we have these very set targets and work towards them, we cannot save the earth anymore. We actually, in next 2-3 generations, it would be impossible for people to survive. So it is worrying for young generation, and we also see the environment-related anxiety among the young population. So as part of this target, Convention says that at least 30% of area should come under conservation in some form if we want to reverse some of these threats to biodiversity and climate conditions that we are facing. That is one target. But there's also a very high-level group of people who say that at least 50% of the earth needs to come under some kind of protection if we really want to reverse the kind of changes that we are facing. And I think this is where Nagaland becomes a very, very unique place, and we should, I'm sure all of you are and should be extremely proud, despite whatever negatives, because we live here, we feel, we see our limitations, but there is a lot to be proud of and build upon. What is that? If we look at our country, nation as a whole, there is about 21% which is under forest cover, and our forest policy says that at least 33% should be under forest cover. In Nagaland, we still have about 75% land under forest cover. It is something to be immensely proud of, something to build upon, something to not lose. It's a treasure, it's a wealth. The second very important thing that globally people are now talking about, when we do conservation, we do it with equity and we do it with justice. What does that mean? It means that till now, whenever conservation has happened, it has mainly happened by government agencies, which has been great, but it has also happened at the expense of people who depend on these resources. So in most of the country, in India, 70% of the land still is with government agencies, and people who depend on forest have to face day-to-day survival struggles, atrocities, evictions from the areas which are conservation areas. Nagaland, more than 80% area is under community control. There's already equity, there's already justice, which has to be built upon, not to lose, not to let it threaten. How much area is under conservation? In India, if you look at the national figure, is we have one of our very important act is Wildlife Protection Act, under which we have 5% under conservation across India. Globally, there is about 14% of the area which is currently under some kind of conservation, under protected areas. We look at Nagaland, there is 5% under government protection, under protected areas, but 14% under community conserved areas. What a marvelous figure. What an inspiring data to build upon. How can this 14 extend to maybe more, but not by threatening our livelihood, our survival, sustaining our livelihood, sustaining our culture, building upon what we already have, and increase the area under conservation. This is what inspires not just us, organizations from outside, but many, many people. If you look around, Many people today are talking about conservation in Nagaland, and Nagaland becoming not only a local, national, but global leader towards achieving conservation goals and also addressing climate change. So this is what I see as an inspiration for this workshop today. I think it's an extremely important point. Whatever we discuss, unfortunately, what I have seen not change in these 2 decades is, despite this significant data and presence of community conservation in the state, we still do not have a state-wise policy to support community conservation in the state with CCAs as a focus, where there can be a consistent financial, technical, legal support to the CCAs. And I hope with presence of NCCF and organizations like Kenono Foundation, Lensa Chandok, and others, there would be enough momentum that would be built towards creating a policy of this kind, a vision that will emerge out of this workshop. And as ICCA Consortium, which is a global network of communities engaged in conservation, and NCCF is already a member of that, organizations like Kalpabridge, FES, and I'm sure a whole lot of others stay committed to support any such movement towards a sustained support for CCAs in the state. So I would end here. Thank you very much.
Nagaland TV, Sob Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.